So I found this cool little side canyon road. Oh goodness. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the all-new 2023 Nissan Z with the automatic transmission. And with that being said, let's just get right into the review. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3-liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 400 horsepower and then 350 pound-feet of torque, and I love the display they have going on. You've got the bracing there in the center, and I love how it says V6 twin-turbo to let everyone know that it's a twin-turbo engine, of course, and it's really nice and symmetrical under the hood, so I think Nissan did a great job with that. So first off, this color is called Passion Red Tri-Coat, and yeah, it looks pretty awesome. So first off, you guys will notice here at the center of the hood with the new Z, you've got these distinctive body lines, and then coming down below, you guys can see the headlights with the daytime running lights. Again, I really like the sharp design with it, and just kind of like all melds together with the bodywork. Parking sensors here on the front end. Notice we have our new Nissan logo that has the white print. And then you guys can see here with the signature front grille, again, we've got more parking sensors integrated into that. Sorry about my shadow right there. We'll kind of back off a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But notice we don't have a ton of fake vents like other cars in this particular segment, just saying. And I think it's a really good looking car, especially in person. The proportions are really nice. And then you guys can see again from a full front view perspective, yeah, it just kind of, it mixes like the classic Z look with, you know, some modern styling, which is really cool. Now coming around the side here, we've got 255mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front, and then 275mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the back. Now this has the performance package, so we've got the upgraded brakes that come with the performance package. We also have these lightweight alloy wheels as wheel. Haha, see what I did there? But yeah, you guys can see here with the design, looks so cool, and the red definitely pops out. Not as much on this particular car because when we have a red car and red brake calipers, but I still think it looks fantastic from a design perspective. And I like how the wheels are darker in contrast to the car because it's quite bright. And then notice here with the bodywork on the side, you can see the side skirt as well, and you can see the hips here on the back. Just look how wide it is. You can see how it's like so much wider in the back than it is in the front. Definitely gives it a distinctive appearance. And then here's your full side view. You can see again with that retro styling. Notice how we've got the chrome strip there at the top of the roof. We have the black roof. We've got the black mirror caps as well. And yeah, overall, again, looks fantastic. So here's our key fob. Notice we have the Nissan logo. We've got our lock and our unlock function. Pretty simple. Now, if we unlock the car, you guys are probably wondering, how do I open up the hatch from the rear? Well, you got the Nissan logo here. Press a button there, and then that pops the hatch. And then we can open up the rear hatch here. So you can see with the bracing there in the back, that is also cool from a aesthetic perspective. Loading floor is pretty high, but you notice we have a pretty practical trunk space area here. You've got the Z logo here on the floor covering, and if we, well, lift this up, you guys can see the floor underneath, and it looks like there's like another layer of carpeting. We have like carpetception happening here, and it looks like there's another covering. Oh my gosh, there's 3 layers, and then you guys can see underneath all of that with the tools and everything. But yes, we have carpetception happening here with the new Z. There's quite a bit underneath, and then when you're all done, you just pull it back down because it's a hatch, and boom. Now let's finish things up with the rear of the Z. So you guys can see here with the spoiler that comes with the Performance Edition. And then coming down below, you guys can see the retro style taillights. Another cool thing with the Z. You got the Z logo, got again the new Nissan logo with the camera right next to the logo. More parking sensors here on the rear. And then I love the styling of the exhaust tips here. And then you guys can see with the black trim here at the bottom, then you can see the diffuser as well. And apparently the automatic is a little bit louder than the manual, is what a lot of people have been saying. But again, look at the wide hips and everything from a rear perspective. And so again, I think they did a really good job. And finished in red, this is just cool. So let's go over the door panel here. So you can see it's kind of soft touch at the top, and then notice the leather and then the Alcantara insert. That looks really cool. You've got automatic windows there. You've got your mirror adjustments, door lock and unlock. And then I love the door handle as well. And then notice the vent on the door. Just a quick look at the mirrors. We have another Z logo right here. And of course we got to show the door jamb sticker here so you can see the payload and all that. and also the gross vehicle weight reading as well. And here is the seat itself. So you can see again a mix with the black and the red here with the seat. So the top of the headrest is actually leather, but then down below we've got again the Alcantara inserts. Notice it's perforated, which looks really cool. Again, the contrast between the red and the black is fantastic. And then you have your little seatbelt here. You got some seat adjustments on this side, and then the rest of the seat adjustments are actually here on the other side, which is kind of interesting. Got our Z floor mat, and look how nice the pedals are. And then even the dead pedal has nice material. Stability control button here off to the side, and you can see the paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel. Definitely nice material. And well, let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel for the new Z. So you can see really nice from material standpoint and aesthetic standpoint too, frankly. But notice the stitching here on the center. And then look at these paddle shifters. We have nice paddle shifters, unlike the, you know, other cars in this segment, Supra. But anyways, got the Z logo there in the center. And then notice we actually have adaptive cruise control. We got some controls for the center stack. Turn signal light stock. We got our windshield wiper stock, all the works. And, well, there's the steering wheel. Here is the center gauge cluster. You guys can see what we've been averaging so far from a fuel economy standpoint. I may or may have not been having a little bit of fun with the car, just saying. But also understand this is a pre-production car, and so that might not be accurate to what the actual production car will get from a fuel economy standpoint. But notice all the different bits of info that you can see here in the center. And then we do have some different drive modes. So you have basically standard and sport. So you're either just, you know, slow cruising through town, showing everyone how cool your Z is, or you're like hardcore on the throttle, going crazy. So notice here at the top of the dash how we have the little analog gauges. Again, kind of goes with the retro theme of the Z. I think that's another cool little touch. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we've got the backup camera with trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel, and resolution solid on the camera. And if we put it back into park, the camera will go away, but we have a camera button that we can press, and notice how you can kind of customize that. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is Nissan's most modern infotainment system. You guys have seen this in other Nissan reviews. Now, it isn't their largest version of the infotainment system, but you can see response time is fantastic, and functionality, frankly, on the smaller infotainment system versus larger infotainment system is pretty much the same, so you're not really losing anything with this screen. And so overall, yeah, solid system, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It has navigation too, which is pretty cool, and well, there you go. So down below we have a single zone climate system. We've got a couple of USBs, and then you can see you've got some extra storage space there for like your phone, for example. Got the stop start button, and you can see the drive mode select, and then the shifter for the 9-speed automatic. You pull it down for drive, and then you pull it down again for manual mode. And let me actually see if you don't have to, okay, so you don't have to click the button. You can just push the shifter down to go from drive to manual, if you guys are wondering. And then we do have heated seats here. And you can see we've got this to open up the hatch in the back. We have a singular cup holder. And look at this. The Z has been made to drift. That's what happens when you have a car made by enthusiasts. And notice here with the center console, it's got nice padding here on the top. And then notice here with like how the whole bottom portion is red. I really like the design of this interior. And again, it's like a two-tone themed car because the exterior is two-tone and the interior is two-tone as well. And then glove box setup. Nothing too crazy there. And then also notice the stitching kind of connects from one side of the dash to the other. And we have that double bubble roof design. So headroom is actually pretty solid here in the Z. And so if you're actually over 6 foot, you'll be able to fit in the car, which is pretty neat. And then you can see the mirror as well. Now, this is our window sticker for this pre-production car, and you guys can see the base MSRP, $49,990. And again, like I said, this is a performance version. So you can see everything that comes with the performance package. You basically get the nicest performance goodies and then also the nicest interior as well. So it's kind of like the best of everything. And you can see the standard features. Now notice this has a couple options like the two-tone paint and floor mats as well. But total MSRP, $53,610, which makes this less expensive than the Supra fully loaded. Let's see how it drives. So let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the new Z. Here's the visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, then throughout the rest of the rear. Okay, so driving the Z. So first off, I'm going to put it in the standard mode, and the only difference I've really noticed between sport and standard from a driving perspective is that standard is just a little bit less aggressive with the gears, basically. So like sport mode will keep it in a slightly lower gear, and it'll downshift as you're coming to a stop, whereas standard will just drive like a regular car, and it'll shift a lot sooner, so it'll keep it in higher gear. But if you're like not in the throttle that much in sport mode, it still like tries to be economical, basically. So again, I haven't really noticed a huge difference between both those modes. Now we are going to get some fun driving in a moment, but I figured I'd start around town before we go onto a canyon road quickly for some spirited driving, just to kind of talk about the Z. So first off, seat comfort is really good, actually. There's a lot of adjustment here with the seats, and the bolstering keeps you in place really well. So if you're going around fast corners, you're going to stay in place. But again, it's still comfortable, it's supportive. They're really nice seats. I prefer these over these seats in the Supra. And again, this is coming from someone who owned a Supra. Okay, I had a 2021 Supra on the channel, you guys remember. So like when I make comparisons, I don't know what I'm talking about. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be the transmission. So like I said, around town, like if you have been in any modern car with a modern automatic transmission, that's how this drives around town. But that being said, when you go into manual mode, so I'll pop it into manual mode, you can press paddle shifter or the little shifter down there. It just pops. It's super smooth with the shifts, very, very smooth. And it's not aggressive at all. It's so weird because like the Nissan GTR is so aggressive with its upshifts and its downshifts, and it's like this monster that you have to handle. Whereas this, on the other hand, seems like so much more refined. It's crazy, but you still get the cool Nissan sounds and everything. And so even in like traffic like this, just with the upshifts and the downshifts, the automatic, you could still have a little bit of fun with the transmission because of how they've set up the ratios, right? You actually get to go through the gears with this transmission, which is definitely a big positive. But it's responsive. So like I have found myself in the car so far, just off camera, just driving it in manual mode because it's fun. I like it. And it's not cumbersome at all. It's really easy to drive in the manual mode. And so I think that Nissan did a great job with that. And so that's all the daily driver stuff that I really want to talk about. Suspension's very compliant. You could just like the new Supra, you could daily drive this. It's a very comfortable car. I love what Nissan's done with the suspension setup on this. You guys will see the handling with how that kind of plays out in a moment. But you know, from a daily driver perspective, Nissan did a really, really good job with this car. Okay, so we are now officially on the canyon road, and this Jetta in front of us is just hauling. It's kind of funny, but this is where we can get some of our fun, twisty, spirited driving with the new Z. So what I can tell you is this car handles so flat, like, and it's just crazy how it powers out of everything. It is so much fun. Like you can see there, it's just like this, just punch. And the thing that I really love about the engine in the new Z is actually the fact that it is an engine that wants you to rev it out. So what I've noticed with this engine, unlike other, you know, twin turbo engines, is it's kind of, and you guys saw the power figures, it's lower with torque than the horsepower. And so like to really like get up, you have to like rev it out and have fun with it. And it just leads to this exciting driving experience that's just, it's so enjoyable. It's crazy. And again, like I said, how they have the suspension set up, it's very compliant. You guys can see the gear shifts here. Like, you see how responsive those are. The suspension's very compliant, but it handles really flat too. And so you can take corners at just monstrous speed, and it just does it. Man, this Mitsubishi is just making our day a little bit sad, I suppose. But I mean, you guys saw it with the video that I posted a while ago with me driving through those other roads. Obviously couldn't show exactly what was happening, couldn't talk about it, but yeah, it's like the speed that I was taking around those corners, it's it's phenomenal. Like I think that, like I said, with the tuning on everything they've done with this car, I think it's really solid. But I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a place to turn around. We'll drive back down and then we'll kind of cap things off. So I found this cool little side canyon road. Oh goodness, that was an automatic mode, so you guys can see. Gonna pop it back into manual. I prefer the, you know, even though it's like I don't have the car perfectly like memorized with the shift points and everything, I love how it just rockets out, and I love the feeling of playing with the paddles and with shifting myself. It's so rewarding with this car. It's so fun. And look at this. Again, this pre-production cars don't get offended, but you can actually shift into first. It's relatively smooth. It's got a little bit of, you know, abrasiveness to it, but yeah, I think they did a great job with the tuning on everything with this. Apparently this road is very hard to pull onto, and I believe it now. Okay, so it looks like we're finally good here. Look at that, it's so quick. And just the shift response time is just astounding. But even as we're going here, and we're not going super quick, right, because we're stuck behind a Slowbaroo, of course, I can still kind of, you know, I can still have a little bit of fun with the car, right? I can still kind of, you know, power through some of the corners and just enjoy it. Obviously enjoy the views as well with this canyon in Mexico, of course. We're of course in Mexico like normal. So yeah, let's sum things up here with the new Z from a driving impression perspective. And since there's no one behind me, I'm going to slow down quite a bit here. We're going to be the granny right now, so I can create a little bit of space here with me and the person in front of me. So, you know, or just the Z in general. So first off, it looks a lot better in person than in pictures. I can tell you that right now. The proportions are amazing. This is such a beautiful car. They just nailed it stylistically. And then from an interior perspective, for the segment this is in, I really like this interior. I love the seats. The seats are a huge plus of this car. So much nicer than the Supra seats. Again, I can say that as a former Supra owner. And then from a driving characteristic perspective, the transmission's super responsive, and it's fun, and the car handles amazingly well. It handles so flat, and the suspension's really compliant, so it's comfortable to drive. Even on like a bumpy road like this, and the other road that was pretty bumpy, like it's actually comfortable to drive. And so I love this car. If there's anything that I would kind of like nitpick on the car, the steering is solid. Like it's very direct, like you guys can see. Coming around this corner here, look how it just powers out, by the way. The steering is super direct, but there's not a ton of feel and feedback necessarily. There's a bit, but there's not as much as you'd get with like an old school hydraulic system. So if I was gonna knock the new Z for anything, it would just be that the steering is direct, but it's not as you know, it's there's just a little bit missing from that. And so yeah, that's everything with the new Z. Let me know what you guys think about the car if you're planning on getting one, and I'll see you. Now that's gonna sum things up for our video on the all new Nissan Z, and with that being said, I'll see all of you in that next video.